there's a moment most people are secretly waiting for. The big breakthrough. The raise that changes everything. The investment that doubles. The business idea that finally takes off. The debt payoff that wipes the slate clean overnight. We imagine progress as dramatic, loud, transformational. And because we imagine it that way, we overlook something much quieter. Small wins, the extra $100 saved, the credit card balance that dropped slightly this month, the automated investment that went through without you thinking about it. They don't feel exciting, but they're doing something far more powerful than a breakthrough ever could. They're building momentum. Most people misunderstand how financial change actually happens. We think in events. I need one big opportunity. But wealth rarely moves in events. It moves in habits. A breakthrough is visible. Momentum is invisible. A breakthrough feels motivating. Momentum feels boring. And because it feels boring, people underestimate it. But psychology tells a different story. There's something powerful about completion. When you follow through on a small financial commitment, even something as simple as reviewing your spending for 10 minutes, your brain registers it as evidence. Evidence that you are someone who handles money. Evidence that you keep promises to yourself. And identity matters more than intensity. If you save $50 this week and do it again next week, you start to see yourself differently. Not as someone trying to get it together, but as someone building stability. That identity compounds just like money does. Big breakthroughs can actually disrupt this. When you get a sudden bonus, an unexpected windfall, or a spike in income, it feels powerful. But without the habits underneath, it often dissolves. Lifestyle expands. Spending increases. The emotional high fades. And you're back where you started. Momentum, on the other hand, doesn't spike. It accumulates. It's the quiet consistency of automatic transfers. The monthly debt payment that slightly exceeds the minimum. The habit of checking your accounts instead of avoiding them. Individually, they look small. Together, they reshape your trajectory. There's also a psychological effect called the progress principle. Small visible progress increases motivation more reliably than distant goals. If you only focus on the final number paying off $30,000 in debt, reaching $100,000 invested, the gap feels overwhelming. But when you track reductions and increases in small increments, your brain registers forward movement. And forward movement reduces anxiety. Anxiety shrinks when you feel agency, even tiny agency. That's why watching a debt balance fall from $30,000 to $29,400 matters. It's not just $600. It's proof that the system is working. Momentum also protects you from emotional swings. If your financial progress depends on big wins, your mood depends on big wins. You feel high when something dramatic happens. You feel stuck when nothing does. But if your progress is tied to small, repeatable actions, your stability doesn't fluctuate as much because your behavior isn't tied to excitement. It's tied to routine. And routine is calmer than inspiration. There's another subtle advantage to small wins. They lower resistance. Saving $10 feels doable. Investing $200 automatically feels manageable. Cutting one unnecessary expense feels realistic. But trying to overhaul your entire financial life in a week feels exhausting. When change feels exhausting, you quit. When change feels manageable, you continue. Not because the amounts were huge, because they were consistent. The market doesn't reward drama. It rewards duration. The same applies to skill growth. If you improve slightly each year, negotiate small raises, build competence steadily, your income grows. Not explosively, but reliably. And reliability compounds. The turning point is realizing that waiting for a breakthrough delays progress. You might think, I'll take money seriously when I earn more. But what if earning more is easier once you already handle small amounts well? You might think, I'll invest seriously once I have a large lump sum. But what if investing small amounts consistently builds the discipline that handles larger ones later? Small wins aren't placeholders. They're foundations. And foundations don't look impressive while they're being built. But everything stable sits on top of them. There's also something deeply calming about gradual growth. Big breakthroughs create pressure. If you suddenly double your income, expectations double too. Lifestyle inflation creeps in. Risk increases, but small increases allow your identity to adjust gradually. You become comfortable at each level before moving to the next. That reduces self-sabotage. When growth feels earned and steady, you protect it differently. You manage it with care instead of adrenaline. Here's something people rarely admit. Big financial breakthroughs are unpredictable. Markets fluctuate. Industries shift. Opportunities appear randomly. But small wins are controllable. You can automate savings. You can review expenses. You can add a little extra toward debt. You can learn one new skill this quarter. Control reduces stress, and reduced stress improves decision-making. So small wins don't just build wealth. They stabilize your thinking. If you zoom out, most financially stable people don't point to a single explosive moment. They point to years of repetition, years of automatic investing, years of modest upgrades, years of resisting the urge to inflate lifestyle too quickly. It doesn't make for dramatic storytelling, but it builds real security. Security that doesn't evaporate when excitement fades. The irony is this: small financial wins often feel insignificant in the moment, but they are the mechanism through which breakthroughs eventually happen. A large portfolio is built from small deposits. A strong credit score is built from small on-time payments. A healthy emergency fund is built from small transfers. The breakthrough, when it arrives, is usually the visible result of invisible momentum. So instead of asking, "When will my big moment come?" it might be more useful to ask, "What small win can I secure this week?" Can you automate something? Reduce one recurring expense? Increase one contribution slightly? Review your plan for 10 minutes? These actions won't trend. They won't impress anyone online, but they will shift your trajectory. Quietly, steadily. Momentum is psychological fuel. When you see even modest progress, you're more likely to continue. And continuation is the real advantage. Because while others wait for inspiration or breakthroughs, you're accumulating. Not loudly, not dramatically, but consistently. And consistency, over time, becomes dramatic. Just not all at once. If you build enough small wins, you eventually look back and realize something shifted. Not because one thing exploded, but because many small things compounded. That's how wealth actually grows. Gradual, unremarkable, unflashy, and powerful. Not because it felt exciting in the beginning, but because it never stopped.